What is happening, everybody? Let me just get set. I've been a little under the weather, so I'm not in our MVC studios. Let me get the lighting a little better. I'm not used to working like this. Is that too dark? Let's see if I could make the screen any better. Go full screen. Let's see how that works out. How's that, guys? We good? Let me see if I get some chats. We can talk a little bit. I hope everybody's well. I've been under the weather. It's been crazy. I spoke to CG2. She has it. He's not feeling so good either. But I'm in the house, as you can see. I'm not in the reality report studios. So I go out of my mind if I don't do nothing. So we got to do something. I said we were going to do this midday thing. So that's what we want to do. Problem is, I want to be able to see my chat. So if I turn you upside down here, guys, for a second, don't lose patience. I want to be able to see the chat. If I can, all right. Can you guys, yeah, all right, Davey T, what's happening? William, Tracy, Joey Blunts. Joey, I can't believe I'm so happy you're here because we're going to touch on some stuff I want you to hear. I'm glad everybody's here. I'm trying to turn this around. Can you guys see me okay? Somebody give me a thumbs up because, my old ass is going blind by the second here. If you could hear and see me okay, just give me a thumbs up and we go right into it. Anybody? Hi, Katie. How are you? Tracy, hope all is well. Um, David T, Joey, Tracy. Anybody could hear me? Just a thumbs up. Oh, I'm blurry. Okay. Um, hmm. Let's see. Why am I blurry? Because I don't want nobody to see me blurry, Davey. I want you to get the full effect. Why am I blurry, bro? That's why I hate working off of I'm used to, and I don't want to go to an avatar. It's not the same. Talking, you go to an avatar. That shit is whack. Let's see if I could change the layout. It was blurry for me at first, but now it cleared up. I think it's the internet connection. All right, tell me how I am now. Any better? Any better? So we can get right into it. I want to try to make this a nice midday dose of reality check. Um, my sound is muted. Okay. Why is my sound muted? All right, everybody's giving me a thumbs up now. All is good. All right, here we go. I'll get to the chat in a minute. Let's just do this. If I get a little blurry or whatever, I apologize. It's because I'm working off of my phone. Maybe a little light in the back. I didn't want to give you guys any glare. All right. I could do this. I could hold this mic and make believe that I'm talking into it, but I'm not. So I won't fool you. All right. So real quick, I want to get into something. I want to make this, an interesting thing we do during the day. So the last week we were here, I told you guys any questions, anybody want to fire anything away at me at any topic, give me a shot, throw it out there, I'll answer it. Meantime, I finally picked a football game right, Davey, whoever was here for our last afternoon session a couple days ago, until things got crazy last couple days. I said I thought the Rams could upset the Vikings. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't fall off the chair. Now, there's a lot of times it's a crapshoot, but I just believe they had firepower and they could have won that game, and they wind up those things. If you go back to that video, you said I was curious. I was curious how Sam Donald would react in a situation if he gets down early in the game, and that's what wind up happening. And that played out the way it is, the way it did. But what I want to do today is we're going to talk about things that could affect us, I'd like to talk about. And if you want me to switch it at any moment, I will. Things that affect everybody around us. And it's possible we, you, or that person doesn't know. And what I'm talking about is might be a sensitive subject. It's addiction. It's addiction of any kind. Um, it's mental. That's the word. Any sort of PTSDs. I'll start off with any sort of diagnoses with PTSDs, bipolars, and the spectrum. You know, I raised a daughter that, uh, you know, with a mom and having great brothers or that was autistic. Um, Now, it's a little different, but I'm just saying, intellectual difficulties is the new term for disabled. So, disabled. Anyway, so I wanted to get into, well, I'm an open book from day one. I'm never going to change that. So, many years ago, I was diagnosed with this new thing that nobody had heard of called bipolar disorder. What the frig was bipolar? Well, I'm not here to break that down, but it goes to, and I'll get into some of the destruction, the destructive behavior, and it's not a crutch because I'm actually somebody that refused to not accept that uh, diagnosis or whatever you know they said, but I needed to wrap my mind around, maybe this is why um, I can't let go of some things like. For instance, say somebody slighted me in a very minor way 6 months previous, 8 months previous. And it could have been a simple thing like not saying good morning to me, like it was an effort to say good morning to me. Well, 6 months later, let's say I see that person again and that just sparks that I remember that. It wasn't out of the norm for me to say to that person, if he went over and said hello to me, oh, now you want to say hello to me, but 6 months ago it was an effort, and it became an issue. And I never let things go. You know, but look, we're talking here, and if this is not something you want to hear today, um, I think it's important that people need to hear it. So I'll always use me as an example because I can't talk about anybody else. So destructive behavior, bipolar disorder, is a mental issue. They say caused by, I can't tell you how many doctors and for how many years. Now, do I believe everything they tell me? No. Um, I'll tell you one thing: the medications I used to have to take, especially in for a while, that I'm bought in, was all in, made me a zombie, made me not Craig Gatto, meaning um, I would just sit on the couch. I couldn't interact. My brain would be saying interact with my family, have fun, crack a joke, and yet it couldn't come out of my mouth. So, a lot of the medications will zombify you. So, I kind of immersed myself into learning about every medication. So, like, they joke around. Some people that know me well would say to me, come up to me and say, "Hey, Craig, what's this medicine for? What's that medicine for?" And I would have an answer for them, whether I had to do bipolar or not. I basically started studying medication because of side effects. And, you know, of course, I'm supposed to be taking this, that, and the other thing. Okay. Anyway, so I can only tell you when I said, and that other person doesn't know it, it's affecting a whole family, a whole friendship, and that other person doesn't know it. That's not an excuse, but it's true. So in this case, we're just talking about bipolar and what comes with it. Now there are different degrees to it. So if you have a personality of one which is in the bipolar spectrum, um, 9 out of 10 you have an addictive personality, and an addictive personality could be for anything. It could be for doesn't mean drugs. It can be drugs. It can be alcohol. It can be gambling. It can be shopping. It can be just that's the highs and lows. You know, I always thought because I was happy and hyper and feeling great and just always thinking that was normal. And then then you have doctors telling you no, that's not. They want you supposed to be this even keel. Now we're not robots. We think we should have emotion, but you shouldn't. Technically, you shouldn't be so like that roller coaster. Where you're on top of that roller coaster and you're so hyper, you're jumping on people, and there's a lot that goes with it, and that addictive behavior can come out in many ways. It could also come out in anger. It could come out, in emotion, uh, lots of emotion. Oh, I'm gonna share. I'm not. Look, I care less. I can't help or want to help uh, anybody or share, or if I can't share myself fully. So we've learned some other things about me. Well, anger, um, addictive personalities is obviously destructive to a family, to your children, to everybody. And you have either A, you don't care, you're not aware of it because you're not thinking about it. You're just thinking about that high you're on or that low you're on that you're staying in your bedroom wherever it is 3, 4 days and not coming out because of whatever. And that didn't just happen. I mean, yes, that and that didn't happen until I hit my late 30s. So, it took professionals, to dig, which was I hated, and then you finally open up and, they used your childhood and, well, you didn't grow up, your mom disowned you, and I was raised in a home where, my dad remarried young. I was very young. So I had, in my mind, I had a mother who raised me. Now I knew she was my biological, but she's my mother. She took me to the doctor, right? But I had a dad that raised us with. There was, especially back then, you didn't talk about it. Nobody asked the question, who was on, this or who was that. So, and we were also told nothing in life is a crutch. So you throw that stuff away. There's no excuse for any behavior in life. And, and you start to grow and you start to grow and you're not even thinking of these things, then more events come. Then, I'm just choosing some things. When maybe you get in trouble in life. You're starting to show aggressive behavior. Everybody, it's because of this, it's because of that. No. Or you start to become a womanizer. Um, and I'm using, all addictive behaviors, you know, stepping out of the home and it's morally wrong, but it's an addictive behavior, um, cheating, whatever you want to call it, and that runs the gamut. You know, what do they say? Sex, rock and roll, and or sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Well, they use that for a reason, because they go hand in hand. Um, So you develop these swings. Then you go through other periods of your life. You're fighting in 9/11. You're losing friends. You suppress. You suppress. So you suppress everything. You suppress, and then all of a sudden, a time bomb goes off. I'll never forget. You know what, guys? I want. I'm not sure if you guys want to hear. Let me get to you. Just make this because I want to tell you guys a story. All right, good. Yeah. All right. I just want to make sure you guys are okay. We keep continuing with this. So I'll never forget what happened with me was is, you suppress so many different events in your life and childhood and, some could say everybody look, I told you guys, if everybody threw their problems in the middle of a room, you'd be more than happy to take yours back. So you're never going to hear from me. I had such, everything was so hard. No, no. So, because we were taught to never bring it up. So you go through all these mild things in your life that some would say are, I've had people tell me you should write a book about your life. It should be a book. You should have been, I used to have people say, you should, back then, you should have been on Merv Griffin or Oprah or whatever. No, so one day, I'm going to tell you what happened. One day I'm on a construction site and big macho guy, right? So I thought I was. And I'm on a high rise and out of nowhere, clear blue sky, I just became overcome with the worst kind of sadness. I can't even explain it. Um, and now you're on a construction site with men, all men. Um, so I knew I got overcome with emotion. Now I'm an emotional guy, period, but never where I knew it wasn't coming, it was coming on, or something emotional is happening, or I'm expressing emotion, good, bad, or indifferent. Well, I broke down on a construction site out of nowhere, and I needed to go hide. I had to go into the shanty. If anybody knows what Davey, any construction worker, they know what the shanty is. And I had to, I came home and told my wife, I said, I can't, I got to tell you what happened today. And I told her. And, she had been telling me, she'd been through the mill with me and seen a lot of the behaviors again that I say that, you could play, some people can play dumb and say they're aware of. Yes, there were plenty of times, many times I knew I was doing the wrong thing for the home. And it was destructive behavior, you know, and that goes to more of when I was living in this, doing working that street life. Okay. But my working years, which was most of my life, construction, the engineers, whatever. Um, I thought I was doing always doing the right thing, working two job, whatever it was, bringing home the checks and being doing what you're supposed to as a man. And in for all those years, I didn't realize a lot of times I had to be told about my destructive behavior, and that could mean I'm not talking to nobody in the house for 2 3 days. I'm isolating myself. Um, I'm only concentrating on me. Almost narcissistic in a way. It has traits of narcissism. That's another subject for definitely we got to get in. I'd like to get into. And I know, guys, I'm not a doctor. This is just a real guy telling you real shit and giving you your midday dose of, really about, you know, if you see that going on, if you love someone, that's why I put that song up because if you saw that intro, that's my wife, Catherine. She'll be mad if she finds out her face is on camera. So again, there I go with that destructive behavior. But she's rode this out, the ride, the ups, the downs, the lows, the the arrests, you know, me, I could, I'll just a couple of hot moments that come to mind. Me walking into a bodega in the Bronx. I won't say South because that don't mean nothing, but anyway, uh, me walking into a bodega, deli, whatever we want to call it, and blaming everybody in there that it was them and their fault for 9/11, taking a metal garbage can and throwing it right through the storefront window. at 2 in the morning, and I'm the whitest thing in town. And the crazy thing is these people in this particular bodega and deli, they were good to me. They were nice to me. They didn't do nothing wrong to me. There was a moment, uh, um, and that was actually one of the last times I had a drink. I had drank way too much. I had destroyed and ruined at the end of my daughter's sweet 16. I had ruined that. Um, and that started. So what kicked it off was is my daughter's sweet 16 was on a boat, and it was like a boat around the city, 5 6 hours, whatever. It was nice, DJ. But well, party's over, but when you're in that party mood, you don't want the party to end, right? Well, I told the DJ to play another song. He didn't. So I I got in trouble because basically I told the captain he was going to go in the water, and so that started with the police. They, it's an embarrassment. Got all your guests, family, get it. So that party's over. It was ended anyway, but of course at the end I made a mess. So now I'm in another stage. I'm in a rage. Get back to the Bronx, and out of nowhere, I had spent enough time in 9/11, so that was real fresh in my mind. And I just remember looking at these two gentlemen, and for whatever reason, and I was told this the next day because at that moment, I, I didn't remember any of it, and it wasn't because I was drunk. That is what happens especially when I was younger, and would lose it. Uh, Blackout, definitely. I'd had to be told by somebody what I had done the next day or whatever, and that man, the cops came, they cuffed me, and had every right to, yeah, go, put me in jail. After I accused him of everything at 9/11, how horrible he was and all his people, and you can imagine what I said. Broke his window, crowds of people in the Bronx, Westchester Avenue and Boynton. Anybody knows that area, Westchester and Boynton. Here I am. If anybody knows Westchester and Boynton, knows this and Westchester and Boynton isn't a match. So, I'm throwing garbage pails through windows in neighborhoods I shouldn't be. I don't care how tough you are. And because up there, they just shoot you. They just shoot you. But this gentleman from Yemen, he made them uncuff me, didn't press charges. I, s- woke up the next day. Everybody was telling me what I had done. I remembered a little bit, not all of it. And these are just some of the things that So you can't. I'm not saying you hold a grudge, but you need to be aware of them. With everybody, it's different. With everybody, it's different. Yeah, no, listen. I'm here. I'm talking about me because this leads into addictions of all kinds. So the same way um, I try to talk to other people, not on air, and you guys know me. I hide from nothing. I say it because I can't help nobody if I can't tell you about me. So how could I expect somebody to open up to me or ask somebody, no, tell me what's going on if I first don't let you know, look, anything you're about to tell me, I've done, I've been through. So here's about me. So the idea is to I believe pay attention. There's a lot of signs for addictive personalities, and I'm going to say the number is going to be anywhere from 60 to 70%. If there's an addictive personality, and usually there's two or three attached to addictive personalities. Usually, I'll just throw this out there. Say you have somebody that's a big time gambler. He's an addictive gambler, right? There's usually another addictive personality that goes with it, meaning maybe he likes to drink or he's a big smoker. They usually go together. Um, Somebody has a cocaine issue. There's usually a trigger for the cocaine. Usually that trigger for the cocaine is alcohol. I'm just going through some things. Um, and so forth and so on. So it wasn't totally about. I was just trying to touch on mental disorder and how it can wreck a home. Um, can bring a family closer when if you're willing to recognize it and understand it, and how to keep yourself out of certain situations. But it's like certain things I still don't have a lot of patience for, so I try to avoid them. Um, like I have a big problem with disrespect, and I don't think I'm coming from a macho place. Like, no, I'm talking about little things like somebody cutting like say my wife is online in a grocery store, and somebody just like decides they're just going to cut right in front of her. Maybe if you were to say, "Excuse me, can I go before you?" So you just sometimes you need to, I've been told a million times I need to slow things down. That saying, one day at a time. Well, for some, I told Joey Blunts this in a conversation on the phone. For some people, me at one time, and even now, I should keep to that. Um, Forget one day at a time, an hour at a time, and on bad days where you really feel like you got no patience for nobody for whatever reason, 15 minutes at a time. Don't look too far ahead. Don't look too far ahead. Slow it down is my point. Slow it down. Um, think before you speak because it's easy for and these are things that are hard to do. So sometimes you might see me hesitate and it looks like I'm looking to choose words. It's not because I'm trying to speak smarter or act like no, you guys know I told you guys I'm 10th grade, 11th grade, I think 11th grade. So, that's not, no, it's because I'm looking to choose the right, the right words or yeah. Um, how many times have you seen me, um, a troll comes in and starts saying crazy things and I'm reacting like it's going to make a difference by me. We're over a computer. What am I really, what could I possibly do? Nothing. So the average person should laugh at it, ignore it, or just block it, fighting back and screaming and yelling and telling somebody you're gonna, tear their ears off, which ain't never gonna happen over a computer, is comical. Now, as fast as I say that now, as fast as I say that now, I still fall victim of it. I still fall, like I said, with the cutting in the lines and the, um, you know, I don't know. Primo, how are you, my brother? Look, the last thing I want to do is this isn't about a soap opera and oh, Craig, yeah, no. I'm trying to tell you, maybe there's a family member, maybe there's a dear friend. A lot of these things. Again, I was raised with. I don't want to hear shit. My old man said, I don't want to hear shit. Don't ever bring up that woman's name that disowned you guys. I don't want to hear. Don't ask. We weren't allowed to ask a single question. And I had brothers that were older that understood that they had a mother and knew her. You understand? So I used to hear crying in the bedroom at night from my brothers that I love dearly, asking for their mother. I was, but I didn't fully understand it because I didn't know her. You know what I mean? Um, and you suppress those things, and then you find yourself. You don't realize that you find yourself maybe not being responsible as far as treating women. You think it's not that you think it's okay. You don't care. You don't care about another woman's feelings. But meanwhile, that woman that you're treating, you're mentally abusing her. You might not physically, like me. I never raised my hands to a woman. Uh, I was also, raised that way. I just never did. But I did something even worse. Mental abuse is, look, physical abuse, mental, there's all types. So, you know, a smack will constantly crushing somebody's heart because you're, you know, coming home, 3 days later, you know, with the smell of perfume on you or whatever it is, you know, you know, it's destructive. It can't work. So you gotta look. If you're somebody that's finding yourself that sometimes you're down or you become. See, my natural personality is to I like to joke. I like to make people laugh. That's really my personality. Um, but I was told that I do that, I try to make people laugh because I was always brushing things off in life because I didn't want to deal with them. Maybe that's true. Well, that did really create who I became. You know, I was the life of the party at the bar. Everybody wanted to hang and drink with me because I was crazy fun, right? Uh, Yeah, but it's not normal that you're standing up on the bar, and acting like a crazy man in a restaurant or telling the bartender that he's got to go home and I'm taking over the shift. You know, everybody's laughing and everybody's crying, laughing, and you think you're this comedian, but no, you're not being fair to your friends that own the place and to the people that are eating. You know, so yeah, so when I broke down on that construction site, my wife, I came home and told her we share everything. I don't hide nothing from my wife. I used to. Um, well, we talk about everything. And I told her, I said, I came home. I must have been upset when I came home. She said, "What's the matter?" I said, I broke down again at home. And she said, she had been telling me for years before that. She got, we gotta, you gotta speak to somebody. You have to. Um, you know, there was a time. There was so much. Like there was a time when spending that time in 9/11. Um, I'll never forget sitting in where I say I do the studio at my mother's house, in my old room, my old house, where Grandma Paula is. Well, I was sitting in the living room. Um, we're about 3 months into Ground Zero. I was sitting in the living room now, where her apartment is, City Field, where the Mets play, Shea Stadium back in the day, City Field is right there, and LaGuardia Airport is right there. So the planes, if you're sitting in the living room chair looking out my mother's window, the planes, like, you can see them in the distance and they turn and land. Well, this one particular night, I'm just sitting there. I'm home. I probably got 3, 4 months down in Ground Zero. Uh, and I see, look out the window, and for whatever reason, I like threw myself on the floor. I told everybody in the house to get down. I could have swore the plane was coming through the window. So, they could laugh about, it's laughable. Like, really? Yeah. Uh, and like everything was just starting to cause like crazy, crazy things. Yeah. There was so many things in Ground Zero that went on when we were down there, and you're just, you're working and you're trying to help and you're doing, you just, and when an alarm, they would have these sensors on buildings because they didn't know which buildings were going to still come down. They were leaning and tipping, and I can't tell you how many times those alarms went off and we had to evacuate, and everybody you just run. You're drilled. You just run, get out, run, 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 run. Well, one time I'm in a building called One Liberty Plaza. Anybody construction knows in Manhattan. One Liberty Plaza is a big building. That was one of the buildings that at that time they thought might have a problem. So I'm in that lobby. I'm organizing with some business agents and some state people, federal agents, everybody. And that was that was like a, 80-story building, whatever it was. So the lobby ceilings are 80 feet high or whatever. I remember being in that lobby, and all of a sudden I grabbed my partner. His name was John Keenan at that time. I see him looking up, and by him looking up, that made me think that the building was coming down. I'm serious. And I grabbed him, and we just ran out of the building. And it's like, it's crazy. So it was adding up, and I was fighting it. And, you know, then all the stuff from childhood that I didn't even know was there because I never talked about things, I suppressed, it would come out in other ways, So um, for me to get involved uh, with that street life, and that's not about this, but it has one thing I'm going to say. You know, there were times where some of the things, if I had to express some anger or a certain tone, I didn't need to think about what that situation was about. I could put my mind in an area of certain things in my life, and it wasn't an act. I was really in that emotion, and and it was real emotion. It wasn't fake emotion. It wasn't a rehearsed skit. I'm not saying it's good. I'm just talking about it's not good, but it's destructive, and it hurts people and people you love. Well, talk to me, Davey, about the keyboard. I don't even understand, man. I hope you guys heard me. Did I waste all your time today, man? I hope not. You guys lose me? Did I screw this whole thing up today? I guess you guys didn't hear me. I did all this for nothing. Did you guys hear me today? I'm having a hard time. I think he's lost me. You guys lose me. I'm moving the screen for a reason because I'm trying to see the chat. Oh, okay, okay. I thought you just lost me. I thought you lost me. So no, I'm trying to share with our people. I don't care about anybody that jumps in here because you listen to me. I'm 58. I'll be 58 in a few weeks. Listen, I anybody that knows me, and a lot of you do personally that are here. I didn't give a about nothing, because for a long time I believed that this is going to sound crazy to people, but if something happens to me tomorrow, I've been blessed. I've been blessed. Great wife, had a great family, I have 4 amazing children, 2 beautiful grandchildren. So that is always on my mind that so many never had that opportunity. So I'm playing. This sounds crazy. That doesn't mean I want things. No, I'd like to stick around and see more grandchildren and so forth and so on, accomplishments, and spend many years with you guys. But what I'm saying is this: another something I've never thought about when moments would arise. Consequences. Further was first thing from my mind. Consequences. And I got to tell you, for me, it was not about winning or losing that moment. There's always somebody bigger, better, tougher. You know, that night, honestly, that I had that situation where I threw I had a meltdown and threw a garbage pail through a window. That's great. I easily should have been shot and killed right there because those in that area they don't fight. They shoot. They shoot. Everybody gets shot. Anybody's fighting. You know. So and that's part of that destructive that mentality of, well, I don't give a shit. Well, what I mean by I don't give a shit is this: I already have 4 kids, I have a beautiful wife I love. I don't want to leave my grandchildren. I love them to death. My mom, my friends, no doubt. But for the right reasons, or God forbid, the wrong reasons, if it all ended tomorrow, you know, it's there's a lot of people tragedies. Children never get a chance. That there's tragedies. People don't grow to be 58. So, uh, is it house money? No, I don't say it's house money. God's got a plan with me because I shouldn't be here. Me and my cousin, whoever watched that, he got into it a little bit. He talked a little bit about life was hard. No, it wasn't about crying. About he was just trying to tell me something. We had spoke about it. You know, but we were drilled about there's never an excuse in life for your behavior, no matter what these doctors tell you. Oh, you've got this, you got that. So years ago, they used to pump kids up, that had what they call it, attention deficit disorder. They used to give them Ritalin, right? We would never let our kids go on Ritalin. One of my sons couldn't, like his father, couldn't pay, constantly bouncing around or chit chat. Well, today they're pumping children up with something called Adderall. If anybody's taken Adderall ever in their life, I have, it was prescribed to me. It is. I'll try to give you the most accurate of what it is, what it feels like. If anybody's ever done cocaine in their life, um, and taken, there used to be something called Stacker twos. They were yellow. It was like a diet or like a dietary pill. Yeah, take 10 Stacker twos and do a gram of cocaine in one shot, and then take an Adderall. It's gonna, it's and so what my point is this: um, they're gonna get abused. They're gonna get, you know. Look, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. I hope you guys heard me today. We went 45. I love you guys. Let's keep it real. Let's go. And tomorrow I'll have something else. See you guys later. I love you guys.